So greeting dear viewers, welcome to Teltonika Telematics webinar dedicated to updated FOTA WEB. Today we will discover its new user interface. This webinar would be beneficial both for our experienced users, because of course we will show the new interface, but for our new users as well, because we will also speak about the benefits of the platform, how you can use it in your business operations. My name is Ksenia Dolia. I am Project Development Manager at Teltonika Telematics. And I also have my colleague here with me, Alexander Buslova, who would be my technical expert, and of course will help me to answer your questions all along the webinar. So far, Alexander is behind the scenes, but he is here to support me with his expertise. And as always, we are recording this session. And we will make it available on our YouTube channel in a couple of weeks, just in case you want to rewatch it or want to share with your colleagues that can't attend this event live. So without further ado, let's dive in. So today we have the following agenda. I will remind what is FOTA WEB, its core features and value for telematics business. I will go through the updated user interface. We will discuss platform features a bit in details. I will specify key changes made in the interface for our experienced users, of course. And for sure, me and Alexander, we will answer your questions. Once again, leave it in Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. So this way we won't miss them. We will try to monitor the chat as well, but please Q&A section. This way we will be able to answer your questions in the real time. So let's begin. Abbreviation FOTA means firmware over the air. And initially, the platform was created exactly for the purpose of remote firmware update. However, it went a long way since its first release. Now, FOTA WEB is a true device hub with a range of possibilities. For sure, it still contains its core functionality. It allows to perform firmware update remotely. It allows to get configuration, debug files from your device, send the pre-made configuration files to the devices as well. So there is no need to use remote commands when you need to set up devices or change the configuration of the device which is in the field. Moreover, FOTA WEB is a platform to scale our customers' operations with devices. It allows to group devices, assign firmware and configuration to those groups to automate the update process. It takes into account that our customers can build their own distribution networks, and it allows to create flexible company tree. And of course, users for contractors, employees, or sometimes even for end clients that have their own technical team that perform device maintenance themselves. FOTA WEB also allows to store company files and make sure that your custom configuration or firmware is saved in the cloud, not only on your installer's PC. FOTA WEB is created to be an integral part of TSP's operations. That's why it obviously has an API for the integration. And our customers around the globe already use it to integrate it with CRMs, stock management systems, telematics platforms, you name it. FOTA WEB allows to secure data transmission between a device and the cloud and serves as a tool to save and transfer TLS certificates. It also allows to configure additional equipment connected to your devices. And last but not least, FOTA WEB also serves as a robust backend for additional features of your devices, like a GPS. Alongside advanced features, FOTA WEB is a stable and reliable platform. We are proud to say that we have 99.99% API uptime. It is a SaaS solution. You can access it via your browser, so there is no need to install it somewhere on your infrastructure to manage the server yourself. And for sure, it supports all Teltonika Telematics devices and is available for all Teltonika Telematics customers around the globe. So no extra costs, no monthly fees. FOTA is an integral part of our offering and is available for our customers by default. And last but not least, if you are not convinced in using FOTA WEB just yet, let me provide you an illustration. Let's see how the use of FOTA WEB impacts device deployment process. According to our estimations, setting up one device, by setting up I mean connecting it to PC with the configuration tool installed, updating firmware, uploading a pre-made configuration, would take around 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't look like a big deal when you need to set up one device, right? But what if it's 100? Individual setup of 100 devices would need around 15 working hours. It means almost 2 full working days of an installation engineer that you would have to add on top of the installation process itself. And the more devices you need to deploy and the more time that you would need for this initial setup. But what if you don't need to set up devices individually? As you all probably remember, all Teltonika Telematics devices have an auto APN functionality. It means once the SIM card is inserted, the device checks firmware APN database, connects to mobile network automatically, and then to FOTA WEB platform to check for available updates. Once you prepare the configuration and uploaded the right firmware to FOTA WEB, updating 100,000 or even 10,000 devices would take you the same, more or less, 5 minutes of time. So with FOTA WEB, 5 minutes without 15 hours for the same 100 devices. So saving 2 working days in one go means cutting operational costs, speeding up project implementation in general, and overall increasing efficiency. So that's just one of the examples how you can use FOTA WEB and how FOTA WEB helps to scale TSP's operations and make it more efficient. So now we figured out what FOTA WEB is and why you should use it. So let's check what is this new interface is about and also examine some of its features in more details. We will start with the first page the user will see while logging in, which is dashboard. We aim to redesign it in a way that it focuses only on the main things. Important information, important news we want the user to see. For example, when we release a new feature, you will see it in the dashboard. It's, of course, resources. So what resources you have in your company, how many devices, tasks, groups, files, users, or child companies you have. And of course, graphic representation of device statistics. The user can see at a glance how many devices are online, how many weren't connecting for a while, and how many never connected to FOTA WEB. It is a very useful information for troubleshooting. The user can see also firmware version stats and configuration stats as well. And there is a navigation panel on the left. It can be expanded if needed, but stays closed by default because we wanted to give as much space as possible for the dashboard itself, for the useful information it contains. Okay, so we have a big picture of what's going on in our FOTA WEB account. And now let's start working with our devices. Using the navigation bar on the left, we go from dashboard to device list. Unlike our previous design of FOTA WEB, now we leave as much space as we can for our device table. We bear in mind that most of FOTA WEB users work with significant amount of devices. And in order to make this process successful, need to search, filter, rank devices based on different device attributes. So in order to give as much space as possible for the table, we concentrate on that. Also, we introduced colored statuses that grab the attention of our users. Now on the screen, you see a red, a shining, pending status of one of the devices. It shows you at a glance that something is pending in the queue, some tasks. It means probably you need to pay attention to this particular device. And in order to open individual device details, it's enough to click on one of the rows. An additional menu will open at the bottom of your screen. So the individual device information is not going anywhere. Is just available in a slightly different place. You will access there like some general information, like group the device belongs to, firmware, SIM information, and so on. And also here you can access the list of tasks assigned to this particular device. And I want to draw the attention of our experienced users to this particular menu. That would be the right place to find all tasks assigned for a device, no matter if it was part of the group or a batch, as we call it as well, or not. So you here on the screen, you see, for example, batch ID 0. It means individual tasks created outside the batch. And for sure, we have here search. You can search by email, description, or serial number. And we have, of course, filters. So as you can see, we have a dedicated field for filtering by device status, as it's the most frequently used type of filter. We wanted to make it available right away. The less, let's say, frequently used ones, they are hidden in the drop-down menu. They are still there, just don't take much of the screen space. So if you want to use it, they are still there, just in a drop-down. And for sure, you can control what columns are visible for you. You can shape your experience by selecting what kind of information you want to see, what should be displayed in the table. Create task button is now drawing users' attention by its deep blue color on the top right of the screen. So it's the most frequently performed action with devices, and we wanted to give it, let's say, the full spotlight. You see it, that grabs your attention. But the other actions, of course, they are not going anywhere. They are also still available. There is, similar with filters, there is a drop-down menu where you can find actions, for example, like transfer, when you want to transfer devices to the companies outside your hierarchy, and so on and so forth. And now, as we've checked what kind of devices we have in our FOTA WEB, let's take a closer look at the actions we can perform with it and how FOTA WEB helps to scale operations. So FOTA WEB is a system designed to manage your devices remotely. Change configuration of the devices or accessories if the requirements of the project had changed along the way, update firmware to have the latest device functionality, or for example, request debug information from the device without actually dispatching the engineer in the field for troubleshooting. This remote access is, of course, a value in itself. However, it shines the brightest when we avoid repetitive actions and scale our operations. FOTA WEB allows to create tasks in group to apply, for example, the same device configuration to a whole fleet of vehicles. In the new interface of FOTA WEB, we now have a dedicated tab for task groups, or batches, as we called them previously. Instead of showing individual tasks, we are now focusing on groups of tasks created, and its colored statuses allow to understand at a glance what's going on with each of the group. We see how many tasks for devices are completed successfully, how many failed, canceled, or if it's something still pending or even expired. Each group can be expanded to see the list of devices and individual statuses. And as always, our users can control what kind of data they see while opening this full list. Task attributes can also be accessed from this particular menu. Okay, so we can create multiple tasks in one go, but how about grouping the devices that belong to the same device type or maybe to the same project Telematics service provider is working on? Device groups in FOTA WEB is truly one of my favorite features, as it helps to minimize manual work with the devices. FOTA WEB allows to assign configuration, firmware, or both to a group of devices you select. Once your devices are moved into such group, FOTA WEB will automatically create tasks to perform required updates. This functionality is especially useful when you work with large fleets. So, for example, you have a customer that has a fleet of heavy trucks, a fleet of light vehicles for executives, and a number of forklifts working at the warehouse. So these three groups, they belong to the same company, but they are quite different. They require different kind of devices and for sure different kind of configuration to suit each of the use case and fulfill the goals the business is aiming towards. So you would need to apply these three types of configuration and to be able to adjust it as business changes operations and reset the priorities in the due course of time. It is definitely required. So device groups in FOTA WEB help you to solve this task. And I really encourage you to use this functionality and to get the maximum from FOTA WEB platform, definitely. And as we touched upon different clients our telematics service providers have, let's take a look at the company management capabilities FOTA WEB has. While working on FOTA WEB, we always have in mind that our customers work with huge amounts of devices, that our customers can build their own distribution networks and work with different kinds of telematics projects, of course. And when your business is so complex, just device grouping is not enough. It's important to be able to create a company tree to see what devices belong to what customer or branch of the customer's company, for example. Moreover, it is important to control what devices are accessible for each of your users, may it be your distributor or even your engineer that should see only the devices deployed by his team, for example. In order to solve this requirement, FOTA WEB allows to create sub-companies with their own resources. In other words, own users, device groups, files, etc., and move devices into these companies. You can create company tree manually or, for example, via the API. For example, if you want to link FOTA WEB with your ERP system and avoid double task of creating companies into solutions. Company tree was available in FOTA WEB for quite some time, but it occurred to us that it's not always easy switching between companies, and we might improve it a little bit. That's why in this new interface of FOTA WEB, we are introducing Company Selector, a new way to work with companies in your FOTA WEB. Now, in the top right corner of the screen, our users can always find a drop-down menu with companies. By choosing one or several companies, you can fully shape your device management experience and determine what data you will see all across the interface. Once a company is selected, the filtering applies to all FOTA WEB tabs, and you will see only the data that belongs to a selected company or companies. So choosing several ones is also an option. This way, you can concentrate fully on a project you are working on now. Do whatever you want to do, create tasks, whatever you want to create, and then switch to a next project. In order to do that, it would be enough to clear your filtering and select a new company again at the right top corner of your screen. So we believe that Company Selector, alongside other changes we've seen today, will help you to navigate through massive amount of data that a telematics service provider have to work with each and every day. So to sum up, the key updates that we are introducing with this new FOTA WEB interface are the following. So first of all, dedicated page for task groups instead of list of batches that we had on the dashboard previously. And we are focusing on showing tasks in groups, again, instead of individual list tasks. We give as much space as possible to the table view to allow you to display as many columns as you need. We introduced colored statuses for devices and for device queue as well. And for tasks, we introduced Company Selector to filter out the data all across the interface. So instead of doing the filtering on each and every page, now you have one company selector. And also there is a number of quality of life improvements. There is a reworked dashboard, there is an updated design, and of course, there is a very short FOTA WEB tutorial that you can use right away in your FOTA WEB account. So check it if you want us to guide you step by step through the interface and highlight the key changes made. And of course, we want to encourage you to share your feedback. All our FOTA WEB users, they have the link to feedback form on their dashboards in the news section. And also our dear participants of the webinar, you will receive the similar link in the follow-up email after this event. So we really want to encourage you to fill this in. to let us know if the changes made help you to work with your Teltonika telematics devices, what you like, what you want us to improve, and maybe there's something that we missed, and you want to draw our attention to some particular functionalities that we should work on. Definitely, I encourage you to do that, because most of the changes we made them based on the feedback we receive from customers. So yeah, please use this possibility. So I will be wrapping up this webinar. I want to thank everyone who participated today. I want to thank you for your questions during the webinar and your attention. As I mentioned, we are doing the recording of the session, and it will be available later on our YouTube channel. And I hope to see you at the upcoming Teltonika Telematics webinars.